supervisor home at noon to get some sleep.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow.
Well, thank your utilities guys.
Mhm.
All right, are we ready?
We're ready.
So I'd like to call the regular council meeting of Tuesday, June 27th to order, respectfully acknowledging that this meeting is being held on the traditional territory of the Kwagwith people, so Gilitesla.
Yeah.
We have a couple of additions to the agenda. So I'd like to add the Kwagwith letter of support request.
Came by email.
It came in by email.
Yeah.
And it was about the BC Destination Development Fund.
Where's, what's that added under?
Should we add it under
Correspondence.
correspondence?
We stood up by thanking the firefighters.
And then with delegation number 4, it's going to be changed to July 11th. So we'll delete that one.
That placeholder that we have for the,
Yep, it's held.
already good.
That would be
Still there.
still there, the placeholder for the recommendation from the committee. So may I have approval of the agenda as amended. Counselor Dugas, Counselor Dorwood, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried, thank you. Minutes of the regular council meeting held June 13th for adoption.
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Dorwood, seconded by Counselor Smith. Any comments, questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Delegations and requested to address council. Vince Lalonde, CAMA Director for British Columbia, read the presentation. So I think that is Mr. Lalonde or Mr. Vince on, or Mr. Sorry.
Thank you.
So I will-
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor Corbett Labatt, councillors, staff, ladies and gentlemen. I am Vincent Lalonde. I'm a CAMA board member for British Columbia. I'm also the city manager for the city of Surrey. It was great to see Heather at our conference in Deerhurst, and thank you, Ross, for your membership of CAMA and your support for our association. I am honored here to be part of your council meeting tonight on behalf of CAMA. Each year, CAMA recognizes the value of excellence and professionalism in municipal administrations throughout the country. Our annual awards program has 4 areas of excellence: innovation, environmental leadership and sustainability, professional development, and collaboration with external organizations and municipalities. Now, awards are presented to local governments and their chief administrators in recognitions for their creative and successful programs and services. And we have an annual awards program that's been designed to encourage excellence in the art of professional municipal administration. The success stories of the applicants are circulated widely and provide CAMA members across the country and their local governments with new ideas and may prove useful for implementing in their own communities. Because Canada has a unique mixture of small and large communities and municipalities, the awards are given into 3 population categories. There's a category for municipalities with a population of under 20,000, municipalities with a population between 20,000 and 100,000, and then awards for those who have cities over 100,000. We're very pleased to tell you that this year there was a fierce competition for these awards. We received a total of 35 award nominations, and they were all of excellent quality. I was chair of the evaluation committee, and I can tell you that there was a lot of very worthy applications. The following criteria is used by our committee in reviewing the submissions. the extent of the program, services, and project that have creativity and exemplify significant change. The impacts on the profession of the municipal administration, the potential of a program or a project possesses to enhance practices and innovations elsewhere in other municipalities, the impact of the program and projects in their own municipalities, and the last one, sustainability of results and their long-lasting positive measurable effects of success on the organization. So the Willis Award for Innovation is awarded in recognition of Jack Willis for his contributions to CAMA, recognizes programs, projects, services that demonstrate new approaches in leading, facilitating, or administrating, which results in a positive change in local government processes and practices, and ultimately brings an outstanding benefits and understanding in an organization and community. So I'm very proud to say that this year's winner of the CAMA Willis Award of Innovation in population of under 20,000 is the District of Port Hardy for Systems-Based Corporate Planning Project. Congratulations. I wish I could be there in person. I was once in your district, and I know that it's very beautiful. And unfortunately, it was difficult to travel from Surrey today. But I congratulate you on your award. I think we have a great video presentation that may be of interest to council. It's not very long, but I think it's worth seeing.
Let's hope that I can get it to work.
Congratulations to the District of Port Hardy, BC, winner of the 2023 CAMA Willis Award for Innovation in the under 20,000 population category for its systems-based corporate planning effort. A common challenge for local government is managing an administrative system that both effectively and efficiently integrates the many dimensions of council strategic planning, budgeting, cross-departmental planning, and progress reporting. The District of Port Hardy has designed and implemented an integrated systems approach to managing corporate planning and budgeting. It is a method based on how each department operates independently, but also interacts with other ones in the district. At the core is its reliance on drawing from the official community plan. By bringing together council strategic planning and budgeting with that of all departments, the municipality can address priorities with consistency and objectivity. This has resulted in an optimized administrative process that is manageable, measurable, and politically defensible. This system process, designed by the District of Port Hardy, employs an integrated, systematic, and long-term approach to the corporate planning and budgeting process that is supported by feedback loops and quarterly reporting. This regular progress monitoring ensures consistency in cross-departmental work plans and is also scaled relative to internal capacity, ensuring that the system will continue to meet the needs of the municipality over time. Congratulations to the District of Port Hardy, BC, winner of the 2023 CAMA Willis Award for Innovation.
Wow.
Congratulations, Mayor Corbett-Labatt. I think you should be proud of your administrators, and I think as a board member, I can say how important it is for municipalities to apply for these awards because it does share the knowledge and the experience to other municipalities that could benefit from it. So congratulations.
So thank you very much. On behalf of the District of Port Hardy Council and our citizens, we're honored to accept this award. Our CAO, Nelson Smith, has led us through the strategic planning process under Mayor Dugas and then under myself. And when it was first proposed to us, it was just like any type of strategic planning process. And we thought, okay, fine, we'll do it. And we know we have to do it, but she's so creative and innovative in integrating our strategic plan into a seamless system from our OCP to the department budgeting and planning. and it's benefited our council and the staff as well as the community. We're lucky to have her here. We're lucky to have our staff here. They all work hard for our council and the district, and we're absolutely so pleased that she was able to be in Ontario to accept the award in person. And thank you very much for presenting it to us virtually. I do
Thank you.
want to say one more thing, that part of the award is to help other communities. And our CAO was absolutely delighted to be interviewed on the podcast. And I'm hoping she'll be sharing that at sometime in the future. And the interviewer, I can't remember her name, was saying that she was having trouble leading her council in a strategic planning process, and thought maybe they would buy into this way. So if we're able to help another community, that's great. So thank you. Well,
Thank you very much. Have a
We're
good
going
council
to-
evening.
Thank you. Put it up, and we've already got your logo on a number of our emails and responses. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good council.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. And we have delegations over here in person, Greg Fox and Dave Stewart. So come up to the table, Greg.
Up to the table.
Up to the table, Dave.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, staff,
Thank you.
yes. Do I sit? Do I stand?
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay, let me think. Just thank you for taking this opportunity to fit us in. We're just passing around a really short one pager. Just the confusion around the ownership group that purchased Fox Disposal. It is Mission Environmental Services Group. There is not much footprint of them online because their company that they actually started, the two co-founders are on there, is called Blue Planet. And they're started in the niche market of multifamily recycling in Okotoks and Calgary. As most of us know, those multifamily commercial high rises can be a bit of a nightmare when you're trying to get percentages down. So they started that. They came up against a bit of a wall as they grew bigger, and it might be a green wall. And they decided they have some marketing backgrounds. I think Devin was actually in finance before, and they went back to what they know and formed a group to move forward. And now they're purchasing companies like us, companies that are well established. On the island, they purchased a company called the Milner Group in Nanaimo, civil works, engineering, excavation, roll-off trucks, specialists in asbestos removal and abatement, and are looking for a couple more. Well, they're pursuing a couple more that should be closing soon. Yeah, and for me as Fox's Disposal, I mean, Dave's from Port Alice. The things that I really liked about these guys, and we talked to a few different people, or I had talked to a few different companies. Most people don't live garbage. My family's been in the business forever. We stopped at landfills on trips across Canada. I remember the Counter Valley, I got to run the skid steer and push garbage into an incinerator with no railings, no nothing. When I was like 7 years old, it's been our life. We joke about it. I'm actually officially considering myself as a garbologist. You know, this company's main questions to me wasn't about profit margin. How do we retain staff? How do we retain staff? And that was wonderful because a lot of the staff are family. I mean, some of them are distant cousins, but you know, Len's been with us 30 plus years. Carrie's been with us 29 years, you know, and I didn't want to leave my company in the hands of a waste management that literally their process is fire everybody, move everything out. And then on top of that, they asked about replacements and they asked me to pick or to put people forward. And Dave and I actually had a long relationship in hockey as well, but a circumstance meeting at a hockey game here, and Dave was kind of looking for an option other than forestry at the time. He'd been in it a long time as well, and it just was a natural fit. They got in touch with Dave and pursued and signed a package with him, and he's now the incoming GM. And you know, if you don't know Dave, he's from Port Alice. I'll let him talk for himself here, but you know, and I really appreciated the fact they actually offered to buy the Fox's logo because they love the logo and what it brings to a community. The companies that they're purchasing, they want those companies to run independently. They kind of operate, and can't speak too much because they haven't given me all the information, but they don't have any idea and desire to rebrand companies that are already established. They want to support those. They want to support them with HR, with money. There's a lot of opportunities coming forward as we get through this process. My agreement with them is in the sale package, I become a shareholder in Mission. So I've made it clear that I'm probably gonna annoy them because if there's problems, I'm gonna be on it. I'm not leaving. We have another company called Integra Recovery and Salvage with my partner Ivan Hall. We're working the Port Alice Pulp Mill and we do barge salvaging on the coast, and my plan is to stay here. So, and reasons for selling, it's kind of in the paper a little bit, but being that garbage is everything in my life, it's we've been doing it forever. Watching the markets down, it's getting to a point now as an independent company to try, to buy a new garbage truck in a line with Waste Management that's got 100 trucks in line.
Yeah.
The cost of bin manufacturing, the cost of everything else. So it's kind of where it was at. I really wanted to have the opportunity to choose as opposed to being pushed out. It is a family legacy, and I did tell my kids a long time ago that this probably wasn't going to be their option, just simply because of the way things were moving. That's kind of it for me as far as that goes, I think. So I'm excited. It was a choice. I get to participate. My crews, they've got packages. They've got things that I wasn't able to offer. And that's really neat. So we're looking forward to see what comes next. But yeah, my phone number is still my same number, so don't hesitate. What I really value is a lot of the conversations I've had with some of our clients too, First Nations and Bella Bella too, locally, all walks of life, Moe and those companies was the sadness. It wasn't the sadness in the sale, but it was really heartwarming to realize that, my dad always told me that healthy communities breed healthy businesses. So support your communities. I know a lot of you from volunteerism and, hockey and all kinds of different events. And Dave's a hockey coach, Dave's council in Port Alice. Dave also does a lot of volunteerism too. So I know that the company, whether they like it or not, going forward, will be supporting all those things. And so anyways, that's it for me. And I can
So
introduce
before
Dave.
Dave starts,
Yeah.
I just want to say that when Heather sent out the news and gave us a heads up, although we understood, I think John said it perfectly. John, do you want to repeat what you said?
Can you? Yeah.
Yeah, truly, we appreciate that it's time to move on, and we really appreciate that you wanted to find the right buyer.
Yeah.
But I'm sure all of us are going to be sad it's not Greg Fox that is at the end of the phone. So thank you very much for everything that you've done for all our communities, but especially for Port Hardy. That's very much appreciated.
I do appreciate it. Trust me, the shop's empty. I'm staring out the window and it's kind of like, it's who we are. So.
Yeah.
Then, like the owners were worried about, about just leaving. I'm like, I think you're probably going to be the guys that are telling me to leave eventually. So it's a certain way it's got to be done, and I'm all for change, but if it's not good, so I actually don't feel that that's going to be the case. Like they've left us kind of to do a lot of deciding, and in our conference calls, what are you guys seeing? What do you guys think? And I like that about the conversations that I have with them over the last, months, as well as coming true, right? Because there is always that, these big city guys, but it's, I get it. They left their jobs and they started doing multifamily recycling in a pickup truck. That's how my dad started in Cole Harbor, in a pickup truck. I've got the original picture of the old Ford pickup truck, and I've got a news article from 1970 that says Cal Fox wins the winning bid. I think it was $1,600. The 40-pound lead-based garbage cans with no limit. And so, and what I love about what I love about Dave is he's like, well, if you're going to take those pictures, can we take scans of them, like the Heritage or Fox Disposal?
Absolutely.
So I'm like, absolutely, that's wonderful to me. So, it's going to be weird.
It is gonna be.
Yeah.
So even though I'll be the face of Mission moving forward, Fox's Disposal, we're keeping that name, and I'll be operating it as if it's Greg's. you know, he's got a great reputation. Fox's Disposal's got a great reputation for community and giving back to the community, and that's how we're going to operate. And I'm looking forward to working with you, and it's going to be good.
So thank you very much, and I know that you'll be on Heather's speed dial.
That's what. Yeah, right? I'm in call forward and like, this sounds like your phone, Dave. I feel the same way. I mean, it's, you know, we're in every community all the time, whether it's sports and hockey and garbage. Like we have the luxury of going into almost every finger of every business.
Mhm.
You know, so it's,
Yeah.
yeah. Excited.
If I
Pretty
could,
good, yeah.
Yes.
if it's okay, Mayor, I just wanted to say that I've been on the North Island working here for 12 years. He was the first contractor that I ever met who told me exactly what I needed to know in 5 minutes or less, and has always supported the communities that I worked in. So I really appreciate it. And I'm really excited about Dave because I know that you're going to do exactly what Greg tells you you're supposed to do.
And better. We want progress.
From the district's perspective, we've always had the support of Foxes. And I always know that at the end of the day, I can pick up the phone, and even our residents can phone and say, you know, my garbage wasn't picked up today, and then your garbage miraculously gets picked up. So.
Yeah, our job is to remove any problems from the district, so that's
That's
what we do with the contractor. Not any problem, not any problem. Well, it's the same way. I mean, the relationships that we built here it's a trust-based thing. And people can just tell you there's no secrets, there's no crossing lines. It's, you know, secrets, but it's like, this is what we're looking for and this is what we can do. And that's everything to me. It's just common sense.
Yeah.
We actually nickname it Rare Sense now because it's not common anymore.
Brian just had something he wanted to say.
Where am I looking over here?
Anyway,
You're looking at this one. Look good in this one.
Yeah, I'm sad that I can't be here to honestly just come up there and shake your hand, bud. I'm sick, but I just want to say congratulations and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. I know this is a huge thing for you to be pushing yourself into the shadows, and it's got to be tough, and especially when it's everything you know. But I know everything you do, you're going to do well, and I think I'm so thrilled that to hear about Dave coming on board. That's amazing. I know Dave's a rock star. He's going to do such good things. So hearing that he's coming on to do this, that's great. So congratulations to both you, and to Foxy, thank you very much, bud.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Yeah.
So, thanks very much.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Actually, seeing Brian's on here.
It's-
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Well, bud, we'll be talking later.
I'm sure, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you
Thanks very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
No problem. And hang on, thank you for Brian.
Does he stop? All right.
Thank you.
Again, my phone number is the same. I'm going too far, so. Thank you very much.
Okay, you have a great night, you guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Sean. Okay, on to delegations and requests. Is Cheryl coming online?
Yeah, she is online.
Oh, is
I
she?
see her there twice.
I'm here. What is that? I'm getting a really strange echo.
Because you're here twice.
You signed in twice, Cheryl.
Okay.
I must move one over. Hold on. Okay, I'm wondering, did that?
No, that's worse.
Can you assign one? Because she needs to be on this.
Should I log out?
Yes to all three of your questions.
Hold on 1 second.
Wait a second,
This
Cheryl.
one.
Okay, try now.
Okay, that is much better.
Oh, that's much better.
You're on.
Oh, thank gosh. Oh.
So I
I
just
kind
like
of thought
to,
that might be it, but I thought I canceled the other one, but I guess I didn't.
That's okay. We got you.
so do you want to come in via web, or is it, you're just gonna come in audio? Or by video, I
Well-
mean?
Can you see me?
No,
No,
Oh, because I can see all of you.
yes, but is your camera on?
Yeah, my camera is on.
Hang on a second, we just might have to change and make your presenter.
No, it's.
No.
Be a
It
presenter.
says I am a presenter.
Huh,
It says it. Yeah, it says you're a presenter. You can share contents, facilitate meeting. I can see all of you and I can see myself there.
oh, that's interesting.
Oh, that's, yeah, because we can't see you.
Oh. So do you want me to maybe leave the meeting and try to log back in?
Sure, let's try that, because it'd be nice to be able to see you in person virtually.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Is it working?
It's working great.
Yep.
So thank you,
Okay.
Cheryl. I mean, I'm Pat Corbett-Labatt, the mayor, and around the table are the various counselors.
I'm John. Didbury. Dennis.
Hello.
Janet. Trina.
And Brian's on the screen with you.
Right.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, hello, Mayor and Council of Port Hardy. I'm happy to be here and hope I can be some help. I don't have a presentation. I don't have it for this. I just basically kind of roll with what I do and for who. And so, you know, I'll just jump right in. Basically, now that you can hear me and see me, basically, I mean, why did Cascaron District feel the need to get a recruiter? You've probably heard that physicians are in great demand and there's low numbers of them, but roughly 8 years ago, I guess, the council and mayor of that time thought that while it's not a municipal rule to be in healthcare, it did affect economic development in terms of not having enough physicians in the area. So they had heard of a community recruiter, and they thought that they would kind of have a look at how that ran. And they liked it, they jumped on board, and here we are 8 years later. So I guess our focus is just family physician recruitment and retention. That's what we do, or what I do. My role is to chair and organize and chair, take minutes of a monthly meeting we have with myself, 2 doctors and the funders. Then I create all the marketing materials for all the conferences. I attend the conferences, I organize them. A physician generally attends with me. Some of the bigger conferences they attend with me just because it can be busy. And a lot of physicians ask physicians questions. So it just helps to have a physician there. And I basically maintain a website we have. I also liaise with our health authority and the divisions of family practice. I do all our postings, our job vacancies. I create them, I post them. I take all the leads from the conferences and I follow up with them. And I also track them. If we've determined that we have a really concrete lead, I'm the one that carries that through until they're actually doing a site visit with us, or they're doing an elective with us, or they're doing something connected to us. I also coordinate all the site visits. I assist with accommodations. I'm generally finding locums accommodations, medical students accommodations, all of those kinds of things. Let's see. I arrange all the dinners and I arrange all of the retention events we have for our doctors. So I do all of that. yeah, that's kind of my role. And I do that basically in 1 day a week. However, when there are conferences, it's much more. So I kind of concentrate my time around conferences and getting ready for conferences and those kinds of things. So the hours will be higher, but that it generally works out to about a day a week. And our budget is roughly 50,000. But in talking to Dr. Notaros, he had said that he was planning to attend conferences. You'll find that conferences, if you were to take this on, conferences are your biggest expense because the registration fee is high, the attendant, like the cost to attend is high. But if a doctor is already attending and they're going to be there, then that's kind of taken care of. You'll just need marketing material for that conference. Something to give someone to take away, to tell them about your community. What else can I tell you? That's kind of my role in a nutshell, really. I present to council, of course. Kind of on a quarterly, sometimes basis. I also do exit interviews for any of the physicians that are leaving. I do succession planning for them. Yeah. That's
And
kind
so I've just got one question and then I'll open it up. So is your position funded by the council?
No. The physician, did you say, is the physician funded by the council?
No,
No,
it's your
yours.
position.
Oh,
Your position.
my position. Yes, my position is actually funded by the municipality and the regional district. So we have 2 regional districts and yeah.
Okay, and it's about 50,000 a year.
And that's what I
Um,
see others being about.
Thank you. Okay, Councillor Smith?
Yeah, I just have one quick question. You said retention events. I thought that was really interesting. So can you tell us a little bit about what those would be?
So recently I very much try to pair these events with events going on in the community. So, for example, we have an event called Soup for the Soul through our gallery. And so it's a fundraiser for the gallery. So I'll buy tickets for all the physicians who want to come, and they'll have it at someone's house. And we deliver them soup and bread and chocolates and wine and those kinds of things so that they have some time outside the office to kind of, just be together. Because if you don't create the events, sometimes they don't happen. And for new docs, those events are really important.
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah. Councillor Dorward.
Yeah, thank you for coming tonight, Cheryl. I really appreciate the information. How is it working? Like, how do you find your recruitment and retention versus communities or regional districts that don't have a position like yours? Like, how do you think it compares? Yeah. Are you still short of physicians?
Yes, always. Always, 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 right? However, we're not closing clinics. And when I go to a conference and people say, how many physicians do you have? And I say 14, they're like, oh. So, I mean, but having said that, you need more physicians now just because they practice a little differently. So there's a lot of them practice 2 or 3 days a week. A lot of them are doing, OB and long-term care and, those kinds of things. They have other things going on in their practice as well. So they're not only in clinic. I can only tell you that we, out of probably our surrounding area, Nelson Trail, Castlegar, we have not closed clinics, and they have.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
Thank you for your presentation.
Yeah, thanks.
So thank you very much. Oh, sorry.
I just
Okay,
got one.
Barry.
So what do you do about housing and stuff? Have you got a list or a preferred sort of locations?
I do actually. I've lived in the area for a long time, so I have lots of connections in the area. So I kind of tap into those people, and if I have a physician coming, I tap into the real estate. All the realtors I know, I tap into friends that I know that have houses that they rent periodically. Yeah, so I have a list and I just I go down the list. People also call. So they'll call the clinic or they'll call me. I hear you house physicians. I have a house. But oftentimes what happens with that is when I tell them the sporadic nature of it, they're like, oh, I need regular rent. But somehow I've always managed to find a place for a doctor. Yeah. But you do have to. Go ahead.
I'm glad you mentioned, the uncertainty of the length of stay there, because that's basically what we're coming to. With a doctor may only want to be in a community for 6 months or so, or even less, and especially when you start bringing in locums and things like that, you've got to consider.
Yes. Yes. And, I don't know what it's like in Port Hardy, but for us, I'll often tell a locum that you don't have to live in Castlegar. If you don't, there's Nelson that's very close. There's Rosslyn that's very close. There's Trail. I mean, they're up the valley, so there is a lot of options besides just here. And I remember when I first started this role, I kind of felt like, we should keep them here. We should, it's our town and we should try to showcase it and those kinds of things. But I soon came to realize that it doesn't matter where they live. It matters where they work. So
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. Yeah. So it became much easier then because I could house them in a number of different places then. Right. And and a lot of doctors actually prefer it. They'll say, I'm Dr. Cromp here and I'm Andrian here, so they like having, living in one place, working in another. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? So thank you very, very much for coming. Dr. Notaras, as you mentioned, Tim met you at a conference and he suggested that we reach out to you. So just to find out a bit more about what you're doing and how you do it. And I just have one last question, and that's, you mentioned that you have, you meet, I got right notes. Oh, you meet regularly with your health authority. Does your health authority also have a recruiter?
Well, as I pointed out to Dr. Notaras, I said, well, that's our health authority when we were at the conference and their booth was blank. So I currently don't have a recruiter. I had a really great recruiter for about maybe a year, and then she moved on. And that's what happens. They move very, very rapidly in their positions. And that's why if you have someone on the ground, you have a mainstay. You always have someone to go to and you have someone to attend those conferences. Where the health authority, and I did have to actually explain this a little bit to our own council, where how the recruiting works is, one of the council members said to me, why are we doing this? Like, there are so many people recruiting, it seems like, and why do we have to do this? And I said, because, under the umbrella of Health Match, so Health Match is the authority that goes out to other countries and recruits. So they'll go to Ireland, they'll go to England, they'll go to the States, and they'll recruit there. So what they do is they have this pile of people and they decide kind of, this person said he wanted to BC, this person, he said they want, interior, north, whatever. And so they filter those people down to the health authorities. So the health authorities, I mean, our health authority has, I don't know how many districts, like how many cities and towns in their portfolio. They have a ton. So what they do, because they can't handle it all themselves, what they do is they filter it down to the divisions of family practice. Within the divisions of family practice, they have 14 communities to then figure out where these people go. So your relationship with the divisions of family practice and your health authority, because they truly are the employer, have to be good. There has to be someone there maintaining that relationship, right? Because you're going to the health authority to say, hey, can you write me that letter of employment? Hey, can you get privileges for the hospital? Can you get this? Like, so, you know, it's very difficult. So now I have a different person that I have to connect to, and you have to build that relationship every time they move, right? But at least there's someone doing that. And if you didn't have anyone doing that, then your community gets forgotten, right? Just as, you know, just as the conferences, and I said to Dr. Nataris, I've never seen so many recruiters at conferences, ever. When I first started doing this, there were 2 of us. Now there's rows of us.
Interesting. Okay, thank you very much. You've given us lots to think about, and we will be discussing this further. So I appreciate you taking the time.
You're very welcome. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.
Okay, thanks again.
You bet.
Thanks, Sharon.
Have a good evening. You're welcome.
Have a good night.
All right. Yes, business arising from the minutes and unfinished business. The council action item
Wasn't in there?
Wasn't in there.
it wasn't in there.
It's that the link got missed.
Okay.
Trust me, we're doing our work.
It's a surefire way for us to not ask any questions.
All the time.
We'll move that forward to July 11th. So- Twice. Business arising from the minutes, Helen Owen oh my goodness. Executive Director and Dr. Alex Nataris, interim medical director, read their request to council for support towards Port Hardy Nonprofit Community Health Center. So part of their request, when they came to talk to us, was for support. And that support, an offer of support for recruitment and retention of physicians to the North Island. And so I think talking or having that presentation from Cheryl gives us some food to thought. For thought as well. I don't know if anyone has anything they'd like to mention or talk about. Councilor Smith?
Well, just going further on what Cheryl had mentioned about having that material to give away when you're at conferences, like, I don't know if our ECDev, if Patty or Carly, if we have anything sort of on the go, something showcasing or highlighting, just a nice little snapshot, or even the tourism, Port Hardy tourism, just something that we can give.
Sorry, I looked at Councillor Dugas and Councillor Robinson on the Vancouver Island North Tour Training and Attraction Society. If there's a package being developed for retention of workers on the North Island.
They've been working on it for quite some time.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Going a long time, actually.
When we will see something.
That's a good question.
It's a.
When's your next meeting?
Next meeting, for VinTAS is probably not till the fall with regards to the learning part of it, but the marketing one, we meet monthly. So the next meeting will be, I believe, the 27th of July.
Could you put that on the agenda?
Yeah, because as far as tourism, we're right on top of that. That's our bread and butter.
Yeah, I know.
And as well, we've got the labor market strategy. That's a task force with Campbell River Regional District and the Mount Washington Regional
Yeah.
District.
That ties in with our group too.
Yes, but that's a separate one.
Yeah.
But,
Because I know Pat English being involved with that brings that to our attention all the time when we have our meetings.
But we all know that physician recruitment is huge.
Yeah,
And
the last excuse me,
Yeah.
the last Ventus meeting we just had, we actually invited the recruiter from North Island Health, which is Dave Granger. He's a firefighter and they hired him and he actually joined our meeting. So he was there at our meeting and he gives sort of a little bit of an update of what they're doing. And so what we're doing on our group is working with them with regard to the recruitment aspect. So that's in the works.
I wonder if we could also ask them, or maybe I wonder if Dave would be interested in coming to one of our meetings.
Yeah.
And just to find out how we can work more closely with recruitment and have physicians.
Yes.
And
Good idea.
any other ideas for now? Moving on, we brought forward, oh my goodness, I've got too many papers here right now. A recommendation from the committee of the whole day on which one was it? Oh, no,
The beach permit
no, that's further.
and the elementary school.
The elementary school,
Eagleview.
safety improvements proposal. And, the motion is,
That council proceed with working with Eagleview Elementary to improve CDU's pedestrian services, including allowing them to install 2 crosswalks, a flashing crossing sign and signage, and a pathway along CDU Drive behind their parking area. Expenses will be incurred by Eagleview Elementary with us supporting, and we will work together on the roundabout and the cul-de-sac to find some alternative solutions.
I'll make that motion.
moved by Councillor Dorwood, seconded by Councillor Robertson. Any other comments or questions? Could you just pass on to the PAC how, I think Councillor Dorwood put it very succinctly but how good the proposal was that they brought forward and how much homework they did and how much we appreciate that, and keeping the kids safe is important. So thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. No new business. Under correspondence from John Tidbury, Port Hardy Palomi Days, read the 2023 Port Hardy Lions Club Palomi Days Parade for information. And an invitation to Mayor Pat. And Mayor Pat would be honored to go. And do I have to be dressed up in a fishing theme?
It's up to you. We do encourage it, but it's totally up to you.
And is it sea fishing or saltwater fishing, or is it freshwater or any type of
It's
fishing?
fishing in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring the
But
bill of sale from the
it's-
boat.
Yeah, I'll bring the bill.
Love to have you and we'll have a vehicle for you to ride in.
Awesome, thank you. So that was an easy one.
And I didn't excuse myself from that.
You didn't have.
They didn't have to.
No conflict.
No conflict there. Announcement from the Office of the Fire Commissioner, the 2022 Annual Report for Information.
Mhm.
It's very detailed.
Mhm.
Not so detailed.
I'm just wondering, is there a fire prevention week at some point, something like that?
What is it?
It's October.
Yeah.
October, yeah.
And I'm sure we do something, but one of the things that was highlighted in the report was the number of fires and deaths that involve no smoke detectors. And
Yeah.
And we all don't like the sound when we burn our toast, but we could, if we don't already, if we could ensure that we get some social media coverage on
Mhm.
the stats, maybe even be included.
I wonder if we should look at trying to have some extra fire, extinguishers and, smoke detectors at a discounted price. If it's possible. Just throwing that out there. I know it's a budget item and all the rest, but, maybe there's some kind of grant from, that we can apply for it.
There probably is a grant, especially on the, smoke detectors.
Mhm.
So that would be one way of encouraging
Yeah,
people to have.
But where it is, I wouldn't know.
them.
I'd have to research it.
You know,
Eh?
Wait.
we'll find it.
I think our bylaws, when we looked at our rental bylaws, anyway, there was a requirement for smoke detectors in all rentals, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's for bed and breakfast and for the
Maybe that's
Airbnb.
roughly, yeah.
Yeah, so sorry.
Go ahead.
It's okay, sorry, Mayor. So within the minimum rental standards, there's actually the requirements, so they don't actually have to have a wired smoke
Right.
detector in an apartment building, but they do have to have a working alarm. And so those are the one thing that we always go after on a section 73 or watch. Put a lot of emphasis on making sure that those are being done when they aren't working properly. And then bed and breakfast, short-term vacation rentals, et cetera, all have to have them wired, as well as if you do a secondary suite, they'll need to be wired in now.
Okay, thank you.
So you'll look into that, Heather?
Into the smoke detectors and extinguishers?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. And actually, it might tie in nicely with our volunteer appreciation time, because that's in October as well. All right, Watsy Economic Development Corporation packed the pantry for consideration. So they're asking us to sponsor them, but I didn't see, or I didn't understand how they wanted the sponsorship.
So my understanding is it's a donation sponsorship, which helps them pack the pantry.
Okay,
You would have some money in the grants, grant and aid.
that's what I was thinking.
Thank you.
So
Thanks.
this could fall under the grant and aid.
$4,800 left over after our last amendment.
Did they give a suggestion of,
There was no suggestion.
no, I know there's not in the letter, just,
Anyone have any ideas?
I was thinking 500.
I'm just gonna think 200, but 500 is much nicer.
We could
Yeah,
go 350.
I was thinking 800 and then down it to 4,000.
okay,
Groceries
500.
are
I'll-
expensive.
I'll
Groceries are
take
expensive.
Janet's advice and I'll move that we donate $500 from the grant and aid.
I'll second it.
Any other comments? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Committee reports, there are none. Staff reports. Our Director of Financial Service, Nora May Isaac, the Statement of Financial Information for adoption. So the recommendation that the Statement of Financial Information for 2022 year be adopted as presented.
So moved.
Seconded by Councilor Robertson. Any comments? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Heather Nelson Smith, our CAO, District of Port Hardy Annual Report for adoption.
And just realizing that there's none in the agenda package, just
Oh.
the link. Oh,
Yeah, I just left.
So the recommendation is that the annual report for 2022 year be adopted as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded by Council Smith. I just want to make again reiterate how impressive the annual report is, and thank you very much for all your work and to all the departments that submitted reports to it. So everybody did a great job, so thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Did we miss that? And AFN letter,
No, that's,
isn't it going in?
You're right, it was supposed to be item 4 under correspondence.
oh, shoot, I had an arrow there too. So moving back under correspondence. Thank you very much. We have a letter from the private senior administration requesting a letter of support for the BC Destination Development Fund. It provides grants to support development of tourism, infrastructure, assets, and experiences. And they're applying for an improvement to the water system at Kipsili 7 or Kipsili Resort. And so the drafter, the senior administrator has drafted a letter for us to consider. Now, sir,
I'll make that motion to support the letter.
I'll second.
any comments or questions? So is it CAO that signs it or the mayor?
Either.
Either one, so you can sign it, that'd be great. All in favor? Carried. Okay, moving on to bylaw number 1166-2023, a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 1010-2013. The recommendation that first reading of the proposed bylaw to rezone from town center commercial C3 to comprehensive development zone 11 in respect of lot A plan BP 308113. Section 36, Township 9, Rupert Land District. Dale Nelson Smith, do you want to speak to this at all?
Yeah, so this one's a little fun, if you didn't read through the report. So this is one of those situations where we have a multifamily development that is sitting right behind a commercial development, which was zoned commercial, but our land use in the official community plan says that it's residential. So we actually miszoned it back in the day, no fault to anybody, just it happens. And I think that it could have just been, we have one company doing one thing and one company doing another, and it just got overlooked. Now, there were a couple of discussions that myself and the director of corporate development services had discussions about, and one of them was a bit of an issue that with respect to conformity. So we've created a comprehensive development zone instead of doing what perhaps we could have done, which was create a whole new zone for multifamily dwellings that are under 5 units. However, we wanted to make sure that we maintain some form and character within the area that was actually occurring. And while there is going to be some differences in other future 5-unit developments, we didn't want to go and say this is what the blanket is going to be. The other thing that you're going to notice is that this building will not conform to the current CD1 requirements in terms of setbacks. I was struggling a little bit with this because usually you can't rezone and try to make something fit, but the problem is it never fit before, so we have to write it. So we can't write the zone and say we're going to make it conform exactly the way it is right now, because if they rebuild it, maybe that's not what we want them to do in the future. So what we've done is we've created the blanket zone, we've maintained the setbacks for a comprehensive development zone to be in alignment with what is already existing within the area. So if it does burn down, it would be required, or be demolished, it would be required to conform to the new zoning, or they'd have to apply for a different zoning change. But this way we're setting the form and character for the future, so that we're not saying that this is going to always happen on this site. So those were a couple of little struggles that we had, but this will help to rectify the issue that we currently have, which is that we have things that are out of compliance with our official community plan. It'll still continue with the use that is already existing on the property. It'll give them the flexibility to have one short-term vacation rental or one bed and breakfast, which is what the request was for, which is what drew it to our attention to say, oh, well, guess what? It doesn't actually meet zoning in order for us to be able to do that. So it ticks all of the boxes. And also just preserves that land for the future to make sure that it could be residential again. So those are the recommendation is to do the first reading.
Councillor Doyle,
Motion for first reading.
Second.
seconded by Councillor Smith. Any comments? All in favor? Carried.
A lot of work.
Lot of work. So bylaw number 1165-2023, user rates and fees amendment bylaw for first reading. Moved by Councillor Robertson, seconded by Councillor Smith.
Actually, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
You have to do that first.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Bylaw number 1165-2023, user rates and fees amendment bylaw, second reading with amendments.
And would you like me to read out with you?
Yes, please.
So the amendments would be that the rate would be $15 for up to 4 hours, $30 for up to 8 hours, and that that the $50 be striked from the record, and that after 10 days, there'd be a 25% discount permitted.
Move for second and third reading as amended.
Seconded by Councillor Smith. Any other comments or questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Then we have a pending bylaws, bylaw number 1163-2023, a bylaw to amend the official community plan bylaw number 15-2011 and bylaw number 1164-2023, a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 1010-2013. Council reports. Councillor Texmo, first face I saw when I looked up.
Thank you, Mayor. So since last meeting, attended the poll ceremony where they sent off the poll from Carrot Park, which was awesome. Got to have a look at the poll. That was beautiful. And the words that were spoken were extremely genuine. It was, it's nice to go there, not just to show support, but just to listen to what everyone has to say and to learn from it, hear the words, and then also echo them afterwards. So I was really happy I was able to get off work and get down there for that. It's important to be there for me. And then after that, shortly after that would have been Indigenous Peoples Day down at Carrot Park. The Sacred Wolf Friendship Center put on the event down there. I've seen quite a few people down there, like from council and staff, but the town loved it. They did such a good job down there. They had so much recreation for the kids down there with a massive bouncy castle slide, just a regular bouncy castle, and all kinds of activities for the kids and food and everything. It was just amazing. I got to photograph and film it, which was really fun. To capture all the smiles and all the kids' faces was awesome. So I was glad I was able to go to that as well. And then I guess the other thing would have been in-camera meeting on June 19th, and that would have been it for me.
Thank you. Councillor Smith?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, exactly what Councillor Texmo had said. I attended the Memorial Totem Pole by Stan Hunt. I thought that was really moving and incredible. 17th, we had our in-camera. On the 21st, we had our Bear Smart meeting, just getting ready for, I believe, that Filomi Days, and our first ever parade entry for Bear Smart too, which will be a fun thing. The 22nd had the Port Hardy Heritage meeting and AGM. They have currently a position that's still open, not applied for yet, for a curator assistant. So that's a big opportunity for someone in the community to help out. They have plans to reduce some exhibits, but maybe challenging with the limited space. We'll hopefully see if we can come up with something in the future. But the Society and Museum is doing really well. I went camping on the weekend. That was a lot of fun. Haven't done that in a while. And then the 26th, there was the event at the Civic Center there. There was two choirs that performed together, by Miriam Jekyll. Yeah, just really sweet. It was such a beautiful evening of music. So it's great again to see our recreation programming coming through, and that was a nice evening.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councillor Robertson.
Yeah, a few things actually. So, it's an hour.
Just keep adding on.
Yeah, you betcha. I sent everybody an email. It came in through my other world. And it was an update on the connected coast.
Oh.
And I'm hoping it reached everybody. It was the forwarding of another, anyway, it's just interesting in terms of what they have done, what they're planning on doing, and I didn't read it. Anyway, it's either coming or has come just to Port Hardy. I don't know, the Connected Coast Landing.
Has it landed?
It's, the boxes are in as far as I'm aware, and I believe that they've got a line. I'm just not sure if it's actually made the full connection yet.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just, and the map is actually very interesting in where everything's gonna be, and a few remote spots in the middle of the ocean as well. Anyway, so I just think that's interesting from a coastal perspective in the coastal community, which we are. I was at the Foundry board meeting yesterday, and Foundry is up and going for almost a month. It's the first rural site in the province, and so it is going a little bit differently, but their youth are coming around and coming in, and some are for all sorts of different reasons, for counseling and for a broad array of reasons. Anyway, it's off the ground, it's going, and is growing. So this is really exciting, actually, to hear. I was at the Regional Library Executive meeting last Friday, and we are in the initial stages of which has to be done before councils and communities prepare their budgets, so they know what they're going to be, what the levy is going to be. And it really does, with the nature of the settlements, with the BCGEU and QP settlements, which are completely in line, middle of the road, the settlements up and down the island around, and given inflation, that there will be an increase in the levy that I think we'll see. Although it is based on assessment and population, so that the impact in it. Anyway, it's coming. I was also in a little, Brian said at the ceremony, which was quite moving, and at the Indigenous Day celebration. And they wouldn't let me in the Nazi area, so a lot of fun. I was also several meetings with BC Housing. BC Housing made the trip up to Port Hardy with some of their senior folks from the island, and I was mostly listening to people from town and staff talking about potential development sites. Very interesting, very encouraging. I was also at a meeting with Fran Hunt-Janucci and Aboriginal Coalition to End Homelessness, and some of the initiatives that Mayor Corbett Labatt and she are looking at, and establishing a nonprofit on the North Island, which is also really progressive and forward thinking, and I really look forward to seeing that. I was at the North Vancouver Island MPAC, which is the Marine Planning Group, and partly with MAP. And they were reviewing their last year's work and next year's plans, and cultural tourism work with the Guardians. The Guardian program has been incredibly successful up and down the coast, and particularly with Nanocolis, and community member has been helping organize it, Scott Harris. And so he's been, anyway, it's been really fascinating, and looking forward to new projects with education and tourism and the Guardians as well. There's a lot of information, EBM, environmental management, and also with cultural awareness of some of the sites up and down the coast, and the Guardians are working on that too. Anyway, it's fascinating. And I was also, and I know Councillor Tidbury was at these too, at a VINWAG meeting, Woodlands Advisory Group meeting, both for with Western with respect to TFL 6 and with Western with respect to TFL 37, and two presentations, one on the Guani project, which we've had presented here, which is cooperation between the Namgis provincial government and industry, which is Western, and how their planning has been affected and what their planning looks like on the ground with the involvement, First Nations involvement, and it's really good. And the more they spread that out, the more people say that's really a good plan. It's anyway, and everybody seems to love it. And as well, the developing relation planning partnership between Western and Quatsino, and planning around cultural values with respect to planning and harvesting in TFL 6. The reason why I spent a little bit more time on that is because I believe it's an excellent example of how industry and First Nations are working together to look at how resources can be utilized with respect to cultural values and business approach to it, and that it works. It seems to be working with the forest industry, and I don't see any reason why that approach can't work in the marine industry, to be very honest. And we have industries up here that are under threat, and I think an approach like this is an excellent example of how things succeed and resources are best utilized. So anyway, sorry, went on a bit.
Thank you. It's all good information. Councillor Lucas.
Okay, well, there's a number of things that just to reiterate about the pole ceremony, very, very awesome. I think we talked about this already before, but just bring it up again about the Van Isle 360 event that was happening in Port Hardy. Very well done. Anika, and kudos to Heather and her group with putting that together. That was awesome. It was really, really good. About Waddington Regional District meeting that we had, basically, I think the highlight that brought my attention was with regards to the 7 Mile landfill plan for the future. Very well laid out. A lot of different items there, very detailed with regards to how they're moving forward and the environmental aspects of it and how they're treating the site with their leachate and that comes through there. Whatever, it's very well done. Kudos to that group and especially the people that are the engineers that are putting them together. It's awesome. Very well done. We had our VINTAS meeting, like just mentioned that before, with regards to our marketing aspect of it, and that's with regards to obviously attraction and also retention. It's a very important part of it, and the training aspect of it too. So North Island Community College is really working hard, Donna Mary and her group, to bring other classes and courses to our area to keep our people local, right? Excuse me. BC Salmon Farmers Association, AGM, but I think attending that meeting, I think that the highlight of that was obviously the concern with regards to the transition plan, whatever that means, and looking forward with already half of the production for our processing plant gone now with regards to the fish farm industry. So they're quite concerned about what's going to happen. There was supposed to be an announcement in the middle of June, but they've extended it now. We don't know exactly, they don't know exactly till when, but it'll be sometime in the fall. The later the better. Gives us more opportunity to make our points, right, with regards to that. And I noticed that an email came in today asking for a quote from from our mayor with regards to the support that we have for our community, and I think that that's important that we do that. And I'm sure that between our mayor and our staff, we'll come up with a letter that'll knock their shoes off and make our point made very clear to how important this is to our community. Yeah, and also very fortunate that, and as Councilor Robertson mentioned, BC Housing being up in our area. Had an opportunity to meet with them through the KDC because they were meeting with them, and I was asked to join that. We talked about our housing project here in Port Hardy. They seem to be pretty excited about what we can do and in the location that we've chosen. So I'm really excited about how that moves forward. And the mayor and myself got to go to a meeting yesterday, which was kind of interesting because when we first got down there, all of a sudden we started getting all these calls about a fire. So I think that the mayor was asking our CEO, should I be coming back right away or not? So fortunately that everything was kept in good hands. And I would just like to say that we had the people that are fighting the fires right there, had Hunter and Mike here today and give us an update. And I think that was awesome. And I think that whatever we can do to continue to support them is obviously something that we will do and we should do. And they're doing an awesome job. And it sounds like it's going to be a while though before they get it totally out or get it under control. So that's awesome. So anyways, that's basically all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Tidbury.
Okay. Got where I was right now. I was interested in all the 360. Okay. I was behind the scenes on that, working vigorously at the Civic Center. Same as the grad, setting the sound and systems up for that. I talked about the VIMWAG and the joint meeting between the two organizations again, and how interesting the landscape planning pilot project by Mike Green. And this man, I just could listen to this man for ages. He was really good. And how the First Nations and the logging industries, how they're combining and working together to develop a program. It was definitely interesting to listen to this man and what he thought. And you echoed the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He was really good.
Yeah, he works with Nungises.
Yeah, he works for Nangis. He's the team leader. On the VIMWAG side, and the other meeting that I attended, we talked about feathering. Feathering is eye angle logging now that the logging companies are starting to look at, because there's one machine on the North Island that we have that is doing this work so far. There could be more, because it's definitely going to be the trend of the future. The higher up the slope they are, and the angles of the slope. This is a harvester, okay, that goes down or up a slope.
Swings by a cable on the side of a mountain going back and forth, cutting down trees.
But they're not.
It's not for the faint of heart.
It's not for the faint of heart, because, and it's a special unit that the track is going up the hill like this, and they're sitting horizontal to the track. And then they're cutting the trees down, and hopefully the weight of the tree isn't going to pull over the harvester and things like that. But it's going to be the idea behind it is they're working to have fewer men on the ground in the forest and put them into machines. So now they have a box around them to protect them somewhat. Yeah, well, it's better than being just the person on the ground.
Mhm.
It's really interesting to what is being developed in the logging industry for the future. And same as I mentioned before about the LADA
Right, ladder.
machines that where we used to, in the past, we used to have engineers on the ground scaling trees and things like that. This machine can fly over their area, laser down to the ground and estimate what size of tree, what type of tree, what water flows are, what terrain is, and the whole 9 yards.
Pretty amazing.
It's really remarkable stuff. It's coming along. I spend a lot of time in Holbrook over the last few weeks. That's my summer activities, going back and forth to Holbrook. And it's been a kind of an interesting last 2 weeks because they've been repairing a bridge over there.
Right.
And I got to add an extra half an hour each direction to my trip. So I was going constantly over to Winter Harbor and then coming back.
Ouch, ouch.
Made the scenic view different, so it was okay. Heavy into filmy days right now. I've just tied up my last band and we agreed on things. It's going to be a great presentation. I'm finishing up on the parades. Got that basically done. It looks like we're going to have a nice long parade. Lots of people have been phoning me and asking me what I have to do to get into the parade. The seniors are going to judge the parade, and the Legion from Campbell River is coming up, and we're having the drummers here too. So that's going to be a treat. So and so everything is going to plan, and the fireworks are on the way.
So maybe you could just explain how you're able to do fireworks during a fire ban.
I have to have special permits. Okay, and I'm restricted to a certain field, and I have to go within a certain time zone, and I have to be 300 feet off out into the water.
In the water.
And I knew that, but I just wanted the public to know
Yeah.
it too, because not
Yeah,
everybody's aware.
And so we ensure, and we have and the fire department are on shore doing fire watch. So no, it's quite a vigorous description what we have to follow from wildfire.
So thank you very much, John.
Okay.
And making sure that you got all those permits in well in advance. So thank you. So I've been kind of busy the last. Oh, Counselor Dorwood.
Oh, I thought I was on for what?
So I attended, aside from some of the ones mentioned, the airport managers meeting, there were a few of
Yes.
us
Oh,
here.
yeah.
And yeah, so they were looking for economic opportunities, safety stuff like with fire suppression stuff out there and how we can help out or not out there. Those are sort of the big things. They also want to
Tourism too.
promote tourism out there.
Yeah,
So
one of that too, that's cool.
hopefully whoever's on the tourism
I
committee.
connect them with Natalie already.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, I also attended the Association of Vancouver Coastal Communities meeting. We're already working on next year's conference, which is in Victoria. The contingent that goes is so big now, it can really only be in Nanaimo or Victoria. So, so yeah, it'll be at the Empress, the conference center again. So on that. And with that, I missed most of the poll ceremony, but I did catch it at the very end. I got to see the poll, but I missed everyone's words, which was unfortunate. And I did attend National Indigenous Peoples Day as well for a brief while. That's it for me.
Yeah.
Short and sweet.
Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. I was happy to.
So I've been kind of busy the last couple of weeks, and many of the same, activities other people attended, but I do want to highlight, the pole ceremony was absolutely phenomenal, and, now that Stan and Levina are home and others are home, they look a lot more relaxed. But that was, I don't know if everybody followed the trip down island and that, but it was pretty amazing. And then when they went on the hovercraft from Victoria to Vancouver and then were greeted at Canada Place with so many people, it was very touching and very moving. And it's unfortunate that he's had to build this pole, but he felt driven to do it. And it's very important not to forget children that didn't come home. So I've attended a number of grads, so congratulations to the grade 12s that just graduated. They did a phenomenal job at their cap and gown on Friday night, and then at their party, their dry grad party, they seemed to all have a good time, and ran into a few of them at the farmer's market the next day. They were kind of moving a bit slow, and but not because they had a hangover, just they were up all night having a good old time. And so that was really nice, and it was good. Also attended the Wallace year end, the Fort Rupert Elementary School, and PHSS out at the Big House. That one was today. The Wallace was last week, and it was really neat seeing all the kids doing different dances and stuff like that. And Stephanie sat beside me, and she said that was explaining some of the dances and some of the songs, and it was really educational, and going, that actually is a song and dance from Wickenow, but because someone married into another family, they were able to bring that song and dance out. And I'd never seen the dance before. I've seen a number of the dances, but I hadn't seen that one before. So it was really, I wish she was sitting beside me all the time to have these words going in my ear. And that meeting with BC Housing and the Aboriginal Coalition to End Homelessness is very encouraging. And I hope, I feel as encouraged as time goes on, but with Fran Hutchinucci kind of spearheading so many of those projects, I'm very encouraged by those meetings. There is an online transportation survey that closes at the end of the month. So if people are interested in making comments, I think it's on our website, isn't it? Or
It might have got pushed down.
but we can share it because it closes fairly shortly. So if as many people as possible could do that, because we don't have public transportation. We do have an airport, but we all know the services are a little bit expensive. We had an amazing impromptu update from BC Wildfire this afternoon, and it was very much appreciated. And I just want to do a big shout out to all the workers that are working on the fire, whether it's BC Wildfire or our volunteer fire department or the contractors that have their heavy equipment on standby, our CAO, our director of operations. Everybody is all hands on deck, and it's really appreciated. Knowing about how many planes and the different types of planes and the helicopters that came in was really interesting, but also knowing that the ground crew were there until 11 o'clock last night, and they stood down, and then the ground crew were there again at 8 o'clock this morning, and more are coming in, and they're really trying to protect our community. So like Councillor Dugas said, we were at a meeting in Campbell River last night, and I had fully planned to stay down there, and I had to come home. And when I drove by my street, my eyes started to well.
Yeah.
You know, and I knew we were okay, but it was just like, oh my goodness, our town is in distress.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad they've got our back, and I'm glad they showed up as quickly as they did. And Which leads me to my next rant, or not rant, next statement, is our water restrictions. We are on level 3 water restrictions for a really good reason. Last year, we had more than 3 times the amount of rainfall as this year in January. Last May, 2022, we had 126 millimeters of rain. This May, we had 8.9 millimeters of rain. Last June, we had 71 millimeters of rain. This June, we've had 31, but it's been totally dry since the first week of June. There are 2 hotspots in BC that are considered under drought conditions. One's Prince George, one is North Vancouver Island. Our lake is going down. Our community uses 4.8 megaliters of water a day, but right now the evaporation rate is also 3.8 megaliters of water a day. So we're at really low levels. So I encourage everybody to follow the restrictions daily by hand from 7 to 9 or in the morning or 8 to 10 at night. No washing vehicles, no boats or houses, no filling fountains, pools or hot tubs, no pressure washing sidewalks, driveways or siding. That's it for me. Under information and announcements, June 28th, I encourage anyone that wants to know more about why we're continuing on with the Safer Place to Be. There's an open meeting at the Civic Center at 6 o'clock. And then we've got Canada Day, municipal offices are closed on the 3rd. Oh, another really important one. Taxes are due July 4th. If you get in there on July 5th, there's no grace period. July 4th is the last day. Public hearing July 6th. Regular council meeting July 11th, and maybe a committee of the whole. And then we can all have a good old time at Palomie Days.
Now, did we mention about the open house this Wednesday? Okay, I missed that. Sorry. I was concentrating on something else you were saying.
Water restrictions?
Yeah, I was thinking it in my brain. Okay. What am I doing at home?
The other thing too, you are allowed to micro irrigate, but a soaker hose is not micro irrigation. Micro irrigation is very minute amount of water, and soaker hoses do not count.
Yeah.
All right, no in-camera notice right now. Motion to adjourn. Thank you. Questions from the public, online or in person?
I just had a question. What was the conclusion of the fire? It's out of control, burning still?
Yes,
That's what they said?
yeah, it's still.
And, what was the cause of the fire? Did
They didn't say, but I can tell you right now, when we had the fire 5 years ago, I was told then any fire that is not caused by a lightning is considered human cause. So it doesn't matter if it's a spark or if it's a piece of glass on the ground, or if it's something worse.
Because, some fella come on Facebook yesterday and said the Bull or the Echo Lake Trail, is that where it started?
No.
No?
And you know what, Tammy? Don't believe everything you read on Facebook.
Yeah, no, I just.
Just saying.
It's to the left of the Holbert Road, so
That's number 1.
it's kind of in that area.
Well, it's in that area, but we don't know, and it's under investigation. And we may never know. We know it's human cause. Accidental or not accidental,
Yeah.
but we don't know and we can't speculate.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody online have any questions? Anybody?
Roslyn. Laura, Dawn.
Nope, I answered about the fire, I was curious about.
Yeah, you want to know.
I missed the presentation last year.
That was on the news tonight. What?
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
One more piece of pizza for the road.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
plastic baggies to stick in and some tin foil. That's in the drawer if you wanna wrap anything up. And I've already posted that update on Facebook.
Oh, awesome.
So that was another thing I noticed in England, there was no poop on the floors. No poop on the floor. Okay, I sent you 2 pictures.
Thanks, Brian. I hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, get better, bud.
Yeah, I sent you.
He looks like he's frozen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.